Welcome to Sunday, everyone. The purpose of the human experience, the purpose for taking a body to live the human experience is to grow in consciousness. What does that mean? To grow in consciousness. To rise from the animal consciousness of this body to the heights of divine consciousness that you are capable of. Do you understand what animal consciousness means? Look at the animals in the chain, in the animal kingdom, and we are part of that. How are they driven? How is a lion driven? How is a monkey driven? How is an ant driven? How is a fish driven? What do you see? They are driven by primal nature. The need to survive, the need to reproduce, the need for territory, the need for pleasure, the need for power. That's how the human animal is driven. Do you recognize that in you? Those are from animal instincts. Once you wear an animal body, this is what is going to happen. All of us, these instincts are in us, primal instincts. So we call that human consciousness, animal consciousness. But the beauty of the human animal, can you guess what it is? This brain. We have a neocortex, that upper brain. Not just a reptilian brain and a limbic brain. The brain has three parts. Reptilian, limbic. Limbic is the emotional. Reptilian, I don't need to tell you how a reptile behaves. Survival. And we have a neocortex which allows intelligence. The soul can begin to know itself because of this. The soul can begin to know what it truly is because of this upper brain. But do you use the upper brain or do you use the reptilian brain and the limbic brain, the emotional brain and the reptilian brain? Do you really observe how your primal instincts drive the human experience? So what does growing in consciousness mean? It means rising above the animal instinct, seeing it in you, and rising above it. And giving rise to the spiritual impulse within us. What is the spiritual impulse? To love, to be happy, to become free, to bond socially. To grow in consciousness, to know who we are, to explore who we are, to investigate who we really are. That is the power we have through this upper brain. Just ask the question, who am I? And to explore that until we realize it. So what is it that holds us back from growing in consciousness? I'm sure you can tell me now. The primal instincts of the creature. We get driven and caught up in the primal instincts of the creature. Power, hungry. Hoarding. Pleasure-seeking, power-seeking. But when we really begin to grow in consciousness, how we need to grow. Our destiny is to evolve in consciousness, not to devolve. Not to get worse, but to grow in consciousness. So this human experience challenges us to grow in consciousness. Through all the various challenges we have in relationships, in the world, in our own self-growth, they are all challenges to grow in consciousness. How are you meeting the challenge Do you buckle? Do you become a victim? Do you cry? Or do you seek the wisdom to really understand who we are and to manifest the best out of us? That has been my dream as a young man. To know all that I am in the human experience, to be happy in every moment, and to really understand where did I come from and where am I going. That desire was so intense that I couldn't get it out of my mind at 20 years old. I just couldn't get it out of my mind. I felt life had nothing if I didn't understand all that I am. I was so driven. So much so that as a young person, I traveled to this subcontinent of India just looking for the masters. And that made all the difference. Because in that seeking I found. In that seeking, my consciousness shifted. In that seeking, I became aware of a path to freedom, to happiness. And I stayed on it intensely. How strong is your desire to grow in consciousness? How strong is it? Do you really want to grow in consciousness? Or do you have one foot in the world and one foot on the other side? Not even secure on the other side, but more on the worldly side. And are you aware, if you have the 2 feet on the spiritual side, that everything you want and need will come to you? The Christ said it so eloquently. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and its righteousness, and all these things that you seek will come to you. And Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita says, if you remember me single-mindedly, if you focus on me, I'll bring full security to you and I'll personally take care of your needs. What does it say? Come into the God space and everything you want will come to you. All my childhood dreams that I gave up, they all came to pass, even though I didn't care for them anymore. I gave up university to go to India, and the divine just brought it back to me, the academic world. I left the secular world traveling through India. The divine brought back all the jobs to me. Who takes care of us? The divine. Why have we lost faith in that? Why are we not seeking that divine consciousness? And why are we held in primal consciousness? That all we care about is food, sleep, pleasure, power, acquisitions. Where have we gone wrong? And then you're asking the question, but I'm doing all this sadhana. Yeah, but you're doing sadhana with the food and the pleasure seeking, and you're doing sadhana, but on the other side you have all these things that hold you to the world. What kind of sadhana is that? No, that's not how you do sadhana. Krishna clearly declares in Bhagavad Gita, vairagya, you need vairagya, and you need abhyas. You need detachment from the world. Not to give up the world, but just to be detached from it. Bhagavad Gita also says your right is to work, Krishna says. Your right is to work, but not to the fruits. Why did he say that? Because we are driven to action naturally. But when you get caught up in the fruits of the action, you lose it because you become attached. Now he says, give up the attachment. You act, but don't be caught. And if you're wise, you will look at the consequences of your actions and you will learn from them. Because the law of karma, as I said last week, gives you that opportunity to break free of the karmic play. Is it possible that you can act and not create karma? Yes. Yes. When you are not attached to the fruits of the action. When you're not attached to outcomes. Where's the karma? It's your attachment to this world that drives you along that path. To more ruin, to more destruction, to more challenges. But if only you take the spiritual path, if only you take the path of God consciousness that I showed you in the meditation, if only all these things you want and seek will come to you in your hands. But when the ego decides what it wants, it has to also accept the consequences of those actions. But when you can act with wisdom and you can be free of the outcomes, God will shine through your being. The divine will shine its light in and through your being. So the goal is to expand the consciousness. It is to grow in awareness from your animal self to your divine self. That's the goal. You may forget this just after I speak, getting caught up in your worldly thinking. But I don't. I don't. I remember continuously what I am. I remember my purpose. And I act from that. So with these words, I wish you a blessed Sunday. Make it yours. Take charge of the karmic play. Don't be driven by the body's primal instincts. Don't let the soul be driven by that. But by the spiritual impulse that takes you to happiness, freedom, and joy. Have a blessed Sunday, everyone. Namaskar.